Hi everyone, Empress Justice here, aka Fabian Deacon. For today's daily readings, you can check out Real Justice Tarot. Right now, the daily readings are uploading on Twitter as we speak because I'm actually doing this IG live relatively early. So if you want to catch the readings, I'll leave the description. As always, I'll leave the description. I'll leave the description alongside this video. And for Fabian Deacon Vocals, you can go to Fabian Deacon Vocals on IG Live. Once again, I'll leave the links in the description. So just to give you an update on today, I heard from the council again. I asked them for official paperwork, and as I discussed in the last video, there was a whole bunch of mind games. Like all I wanted was, I didn't even want a decision. I just wanted like some official paperwork on, on whether or not I'm going to stay here. Like just some official documentation, like regardless of what they decide. If they decide that they want me here, I just want some official documentation. Decide to evict me, I want some official documentation. But I want something official, right? Now, what followed was, oh, if you ask for paperwork, then you're asking for intentional homelessness. Didn't I say to you that I actually wanted to stay and that I was staying for my family? Now this guy's bringing up the fact, bringing up all those times that I wanted to leave when my inability to handle this family's harassment was at its peak. And I didn't even just want to leave this fucking flat. I wanted to leave Brighton because the harassment was just getting too much. But for you to bring past situations up, like what are you doing? Like literally, what are you doing? All I've asked for is some official paperwork from the landlords. I should be able to get it without them saying, oh, well, they'll take it as you going back on your word. I said, are they slow? Are they mentally ill? Do they have severe learning difficulties? Do they have severe cognitive difficulties? Then how would it track that me asking for official documentation would mean that I want to leave? And they also asked me whether or not the family who was harassing me, I of course answered honestly. I said it's mostly one kid doing it, but that's not why I've contacted them. Sorry, I just saw this cutest little thing. Anyway, but yeah, it's just, it's just endless mind games. It's just endless mind games. I did not ask you to leave. I didn't take it as an opportunity to complain about the neighbors. All I wanted was some official documentation for me to prove whether or not I lived somewhere. Because what I'm worried about is that if they do decide that they want me to leave, that is going to end in a situation where I'm just chucked out and there's no official documentation protecting me or no legal. Now, I have to admit, I didn't read the full email properly. I was just too focused on the fact that this person was playing mind games with me. But from what they've said, if they're still taking rent money from my housing benefit, and if, unless they've said otherwise, then basically I'm living here, I have every right to live here. I'm thinking, it's one thing for me to have the right to live here, but am I an official tenant? Living here, having the right to live here after my contract is expired is a very, very different enterprise from me being an official tenant on a rolling basis, which basically the council said I was. I'm thinking, okay, cool. You said, oh, I'm worried that if you force their hand, they'll think you want to be kicked out. I'm like, again, they're not slow. So this followed a back and forth where there was just endless emotional manipulation to the point where I just said, look, what are you doing? What are you doing? I already said I wanted to stay. I already said I changed my mind and I wanted to stay. Like, what exactly do you think you're doing here? I don't understand. Like, you're trying to scramble my mind. It's like, if you really care about my mental health, why can you not give me a straight answer? You see, this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say mental health is just hired as a fucking heavy these days. Like, mental health is just hired as a heavy for council people who just don't want to do their jobs or who want to treat vulnerable people like shit. Like, for me, I'm not vibing with that. Like, I asked you for something simple. Like I'll give you all. I'll give you the whole conversation. This shit is unbelievable. I've already given you a part of the conversation. I'll give you the whole conversation this morning, right? But basically, I asked for something, and you play mind games. I ask you for something, and you play mind games. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Endless nonsense. Like, this is why psychiatry is not fit for purpose. Psychiatry is basically a henchman at this point. Nah, this can't run. Do you know what the council did after I had that discussion with them initially? So after like 2 back and forths, right? I get a phone call from Laura Ling again. Only this time I'm not mad at Laura. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are behind the scenes. If she gets a report from somebody saying, I'm worried about this person's mental health, she has to answer the call. She's got to answer it. It doesn't matter how I feel about the situation, how anybody feels about the situation. If somebody reports in, especially from the council, then psychiatry has a legal obligation to follow that shit up, which is why she called me. And honestly, the conversation between me and her was civil, because at this point, how am I going to be mad at her when she's not the one fucking orchestrating the shit? She's not the one doing it. If the council is literally trying to get mental health involved every time they want to avoid a direct answer, then that's down to the council, isn't it? That's down to the council. Now, mental health have their own shit to be responsible for, especially Millview. But when it comes to this situation, I can't blame me Sprite and mental health for that shit. At the end of the day, right, they're doing their jobs. It's the council who decided to play mind games. And when they weren't succeeding with me, they tried to paint it off as me being mentally ill. Like, we're not playing that game, my guy. We're not playing that game. We're not playing that game. So that, more than anything, was what fucking angered me yesterday. Now, the neighbors did their usual shit. That, like, again, it just seems like they have nothing else to talk about but me. If you're not hired to fucking try to wreck my life, then why is it that literally every single day there is a conversation about me for at least 2 hours? Why is it that why is it that your kids are like, well, one of your kids are itching to fucking call me mad lady like a crack fiend? Let me call them mad lady just once. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh. It's like they have nothing else to talk about me. Like, aren't there bigger things for you to worry about? Like, oh, I don't know, what's going on in the world right now? How that might affect your finances, how that might affect your lives, how that might affect, like, nothing bigger, your housing situation, nothing bigger than what's going on with me? How is it that there's nothing going on under the table and you have nothing else to think about other than me? Make it make sense. If there's really nothing going on and I'm just paranoid and I'm just paranoid and delusional, then please explain to me why there is more about me coming out of these people's mouths than me about them. Help me understand here. I just don't understand, like, and I'm sorry to bring up the crack fiend thing. Like, I know, like, addiction is not funny, and like clowning people for their addiction isn't funny, but it's just like, now come on, man. Come the fuck on, man. Come the fuck on. I'm gonna start charging people for calling me a mad lady. I'm serious. I'm not saying it to punish people. I'm saying it because clearly people are addicted to slanging me. I might as well fucking charge that shit and say, look, I'll give you a 20 bet for a bump, yeah? You know, stand there and call me a mad lady for about half an hour. Like, I can charge £20 for that shit, or maybe £50 for that shit. And not to punish anybody, but just like, because I know they need it. I know there's a need. So I'll just... I know there's a need. So I'll just charge people like 50. For 50, you can call me mad. For like about 75, you could call me an N-word for 5 minutes or something. Like, just fucking charge the shit. Charge the shit. I could be a kingpin the way these people are addicted to fucking with me. I could be a kingpin out here in these streets. I could be a kingpin and all of it would be legal. All of it would be legal. All I've done is pay you for the privilege of being able to insult me. That's all I've done. I could make millions from that shit, the way people are obsessed with me. Let's just start a business. Cuss me out for like, no, because people are just addicted to trying to make me feel bad. So why not just make a little bit of money out of it? Maybe like, oh yeah, no, maybe like about 30 to 40 pounds for calling me a liar. And maybe about 50 to say that I'd throw a strop at everything. I don't know. Like, I have to check the price tariff on how severe the consequences are for that insult towards me or that smear campaign towards me. And maybe then I can just price it accordingly. So I'm thinking, yeah, like, just make a business out of it, man. Why not? Why not? Oh, Jesus. All right, so it's a grey day in Brighton today. It's still beautiful, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. It is still lovely, but it's grey. You know what I love? When you go to the beach, right, there's that little stretch of the sky right there. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right there. So there's a little stretch of the sky right there. And it's literally like God is just opening up. And it's like that little portion of light through the clouds that gets onto the water. Oh my God, it is so, so, so beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. Like, you don't understand. Like, absolutely beautiful. Just gorgeous. You know, I love living here. I really do. But the truth of the matter is that my anchor does not rest here. My plans are way too big, and my long-term goals are way too big for me to see this place as a permanent place to port. Like, I have bigger plans, I have bigger dreams, I have bigger things going on. So if you want to keep me here, you don't want to keep me, I don't give a fuck, okay? At the end of the day, I got bigger plans than this place. And the way my business is set up, Real Justice Tarot is mobile. I can keep that going like for as long as I need to. The other side, the other business that I'm trying to start up, that's a little bit trickier. But as long as I have something established, by the time I have a name, I can go wherever I want and still do the same shit. All I need is like, a base of operations to begin with. And then from there, it's established. So I can keep my business moving. I don't need to be in a flat to have my business. I thought I did, but I don't. All I need is an address. It doesn't have to be a permanent one. And I know that it's going to fuck with my credit, but there are other ways around it. There are other ways around the issue, And it does fuck with your credit if you move around all the time. The poor are kept mobile, remember? So, yeah. You move around all the time, it fucks with your credit. I know that, but there are ways around that issue. There are always ways around it that are completely legal, completely safe. And if you know what you're doing, can even be profitable. It's not about avoiding the bad things happening. It's that when the bad things do happen, what opportunities can you glean from that situation? These people are wasting their own fucking time, and they're wasting my fucking time. But the irony is that because I'm not really worried about it, that's ironically what's calming me down. And then because that's calming me down, it's making it difficult to get a rise out of me. And if it's difficult to get a rise out of me, then it's difficult to have grounds to get me evicted or to have grounds to report me. So the fact that I don't actually care whether I stay here or not, like the fact that I don't actually give a shit, it's ironically, it's actually making it difficult for my landlords to get rid of me or for the council to get rid of me. It's making it difficult for them to do that because they don't have grounds yet. They said, you know, you got to fulfill these promises in order to stay here. I'm fulfilling them. And it's not even because I want to stay here. It's because I've got so many other things on my mind. I don't have time to be wasting on a petty feud. There are literally people being murdered by directed energy weapons right now, being murdered by pharmaceuticals, being murdered by community-wide gang stalking campaigns. I don't have the fucking time. And then on top of that, you know, again, I've got really, really big plans. So I don't have the time to be like sitting around obsessing over what people are saying about me and who is saying it about me. In fact, when it comes to people who are so evil and so relentless, after a while, I just start ignoring them because I don't want to focus on people like that. It's not a deliberate thing. I just don't want to focus on it. Once a certain amount of negativity reaches a certain level, I don't want to acknowledge you. It's a visceral reaction. It's not even a logical one. It's a visceral one because there's so much ugliness in that spirit. I don't want to focus on it anymore. The only reason I talk about it is to give you an update on me and on what's going on. But after a while, I just don't want to focus on that type of ugliness. I just want to focus on something positive and something useful. Happens all the time. It's like they get a rise out of me. They get a big rise out of me. And then after all is said and done, I'm like, okay, so I've thrown my little tantrum. Okay, now we handle business. Okay? I got more important things. And this flat is not the be all and end all for me. Might be the be all and end all for somebody else. That view right there might be the be all and end all for somebody else. But could you imagine the view from Sicily? Imagine the view from Madagascar. Imagine the view from Bora Bora. Imagine the view from fucking Ecuador. Can you imagine the view from Brazil? Can you imagine the view from fucking Sao Paulo? Can you imagine the view from Rio? Can you imagine the view from Cuba? Can you imagine the view from the coast of West Africa? From the coast of East Africa? Can you imagine the fucking view there? Can you imagine the view from fucking... Can you imagine the view from the Hamptons in New York? The Hamptons in New York. Imagine the view from many different places around this world. Hell, around here. Imagine the view from Eastbourne, from Worthing, from Dorset, even though Dorset's racist as fuck, from Dorset, from Cornwall. Imagine the view from all different other parts of the world. This is a back door in the middle of, like, this is just a back door. This is a back door to where I really want to go in my life. Imagine the view from the south of France too. Come on, man. Come on, man. I got bigger plans. And that's what I'm focused on. And whichever direction spirit takes me into is whichever direction spirit takes me into. And that's the end of it. And now I gotta go because I've got shit to do today. So I love you guys. Take care. Oh yeah. The tarot readings. Hang on, what time is it? The tarot readings will definitely be up now. So I'm going to link them to this video. Link my singing to this video. You know what to do. Go in there, look, check it out. I'm going to do what I do. Okay? I love you guys. Take care, my fellow TIs. Bye-bye.